Right, welcome back to the much needed show where we put the wibble to rights for all of the absolute sausages that are going out there. And I do apologise for the ones that we're going to miss. Please comment the ones that we've missed and any links that you've got to absolute sausages going off that we can rectify next week. But we're going to start with the very obvious. And it doesn't get much more obvious than this. Sky Sports, we touched on this either last week or the week before. Sky Sports love to inflate how much Manchester United have paid for players. We looked at TalkSport doing this, and we've looked at Sky doing this. And we actually mentioned, watch out for it, because it happens all the time. And this is why you go, oh, United have spent $7 billion, actually. Like, not true. We get this, like, transfer fee creep happening about us all the time. They'll conflate euros with pounds, or they'll just straight up lie. Now, check this one out from Sky. They've got 50 million and 60 million on the same screen at the same time. 60 million euros is what it's going to be after all of the add-ons, which might include winning the league and the fucking Ballon d'Or, right? Why are we including add-ons? Do you remember when they did this with Anthony Martial? It had a Ballon d'Or clause in there. I don't think he activated it. Therefore, it didn't happen. It didn't exist. So the fee is 50 million euros till he wins a fucking Ballon d'Or, innit? You dicks. Jamie O'Hara. Now, for starters, the fact that he decided that United played on the counter.
You know, you're going to see them with some decent possession, top players out on a football pitch and not finding a way to win a game. You know, I thought they were good yesterday on the counter-attack. Unlucky, really, with the goal that was obviously chalked off for the offside. But
I can only presume he did not watch the game. It was like nothing's changed. I don't see how Erik Ten Hag lasts a season at Manchester United. I'll tell you how he lasts a season. Probably by doing what he did in his first season. Probably by having a season where we don't have the same number of injuries. How can you say Manchester United have not improved from last season? We have literally improved in almost every area, bar goal scoring, which I think we all are aware of. But the chance creation's there. We look far better with the ball. We're playing out better. We're stopping the opposition press. Like, we are just better. Did we lose to Brighton? Yes, we did. That's football sometimes. You don't necessarily get what you deserve. But to come out and just be like, immediately like, this manager's probably going to get sacked. Have you done that for any of the other clubs that have lost this season? Have you? Therein lies the point, doesn't it? And everyone's taking a piss out United losing to Brighton. There was this graphic up of like Brighton starting 11, United starting 11. Brighton have spent 200 million this summer just because they all didn't fucking play. Like, the same way United. What was our starting 11, right? Yeah, okay, there's some spendy players in there for sure, especially like the likes of Maguire and that. But Jesus, like, this only ever happens to United. I don't see this happening. Like, where was like comparing Ipswich to the price of that Liverpool team? Did that happen last week? Don't fucking think so. And then Paddy Power. Now, Paddy Power set the piss out of a lot of clubs, right? So that's a normal thing. But this was all on the same day at the same time. And going on about this, RIP Manchester United's title hopes, 16th to the 24th of August 2024. Not a single person, especially you fuckers, right? And especially all of these broadcasters, not one person had Manchester United winning the league in any prediction. I don't think there's any United fan channel had Manchester United winning the league in any fucking prediction. So don't start being like, well, there's your title fucking charge gone. We was in a top 4 race at best. No one thinks United are winning this fucking league. So don't start changing the goalposts to start saying, oh, your fucking title's gone. We were never winning the fucking league. Get a fucking grip. And then we have Curtis Woodhouse. Now, Curtis Woodhouse, I bet if you did a search for this, has probably tweeted this exact argument a dozen times, I would like to think. Peter Crouch has more Premier League assists than the legendary playmaker Scholes, who played for a team that dominated English football. Paul Scholes defends, he hit a tree once from 40 yards. And then you've got everyone's least favourite Scouser, Tony, going, most overrated player in Prem history. That would be Steven Gerrard, mate, for starters. And he says, no, never anywhere near the best player in any team he played in. The myth is mind-boggling, all blag. Good player, not exceptional. Oh, where the fuck do you even start with this, right? One, the assisting is irrelevant. And Curtis would be the first person, if you came at him with stats, would be the first person to say, eye test, use your fucking brain, don't just look at the fucking stats, right? So bringing up Peter Crouch's assists like it means fucking anything to anyone is completely fucking irrelevant. I've got a stat for you. It's called Premier League titles. Scholes is in double figures for them. I'll be waiting here if you can find me a handful of other people who've got that. Now, Paul Scholes was a deep line playmaker. He's in the same sort of mould as Xavi and Pirlo. And he has a similar sort of number of assists as a Xavi and a Pirlo. Paul Scholes' move was to get the ball, look for a switch, hit it out to one of the wingers, and one of the wingers would cross it in. If I'm having to tell you that, you didn't fucking watch Paul Scholes. Paul Scholes wasn't the one like feeding it through. Yes, that happened at times, but that wasn't the move. Manchester United, at the prime of Paul Scholes, played with offensive wingers who looked to get in behind defences and then put the ball in. Later in his career, we played with inverted wingers who would look to cut inside and make something happen, either for themselves or for somebody else. Paul Scholes was the person who played that penetrating pass, who split a defence open, not necessarily the final ball. And for saying Paul Scholes is the most overrated player in Prem history, I think there's an element of people kind of eulogising Scholes because he downplays himself so much and because he was never really acknowledged in the sort of team awards. But those team awards are fucking nonsense. Those individual awards are fucking nonsense. Manchester United won everything bar the Worthington Cup in 1999. David Beckham was supposedly the second best player in the world. For me, he was the best, right? But supposedly he was the second best player in the world. But according to the Professional Football Association, he wasn't even as good as David Ginola, even though he won the fucking lot. The problem with those individual honours is they're quite spread. When someone goes, I'm going to vote for a United player and then I'm going to vote for that player. Manchester United, throughout our time of Paul Scholes being there, have had loads of standout people who probably had individually better seasons than Paul Scholes. Talking 9s, 9.5, 10 seasons. Roy Keane had one in 2000, 2001. David Beckham had one in 99. Robbie Van Persie arguably had one in 2013. Cristiano Ronaldo had one in 2008. You've had players that have stood out above and beyond, not just him, but the rest of the league. But Paul Scholes has been in there just doing consistent 7 and 8s out of 10 for decades. You know, when you look at some of the dominant performances in Europe, Manchester United, that goal against Panathinaikos is one that stands out, where it's just metronomic passing. And you listen to the Spanish football generation that came up saying Paul Scholes was a teacher at La Mesa. Don't remember him saying Peter fucking Crouch was a teacher at fucking La Mesa, do you? There's certain players that are being piped off beyond their fucking abilities. Steven Gerrard's a big one. Virgil van Dijk is another one. I actually think Raheem Sterling's probably in the fucking mix for another one that's done that as well. And there's some players that just go completely under the fucking radar. Xavi Alonso at Liverpool was a fucking good player because he was a fucking good player. They try and make it out like Steven Gerrard played with a load of pieces of fucking wood. It isn't the case. Didi Hamann was a good midfielder. Xabi Alonso was a good midfielder. And the only reason that Liverpool actually got back into that fucking game in Milan in 2005 was because they put two actual midfielders in and let Stevie Me run around and do his own fucking thing. Play with Fernando Torres. Like, that Liverpool team had some fucking good players in it. They make it sound like Steven Gerrard was him on his own, Carragher, and then 9 footwits from the pub in Bootle. Paul Scholes did play in great teams, and he was also one of the better players in those great teams. You listen to anybody that trained with him and say, do you know what? Didn't realise how good Paul Scholes was until I got on the pitch with him and then just fucking watched him do his work. Paul Scholes' style of play did not catch the eye. Very much in a similar vein as Michael Carrick. Takes you really watching him to know. And clearly that's 2 fucking levels of analysis deeper than Curtis Woodhouse is ever going to fucking get to. Enjoy your fucking rage bait on Twitter, mate. Well done.
Sorry, everyone. Move out the way, Steve, because it's time to hear about Manscaped. And the days of having to use the same trimmer for your balls and your face, just thinking about that is disgusting. Those days are over with Manscaped as they bring you the Beard Hedger, their first ever beard trimmer. And now alongside, of course, the Lawnmower 5.0, you can trim your balls and your face the right way. Of course, you've got the Lawnmower 5.0 for the downstairs, and that's got the multifunctional on-off switch, so you can lock it. It's not going to turn on in your bag when you're going traveling. It's also got a switch-out foil blade as well. It's got the normal trimmer and the foil blade to take things closer than ever. It's also got a light. It's also water-resistant. It's all the things that you need your ball trimmer to be. And now you've got the Beard Hedger as well, with 20 different lengths. So whatever length you want different bits of your beard, you can do it with Manscaped. And with our code Howson, Makes sense because it's Howson. Well, I'm not, but he is. You get 20% off and free shipping with Manscaped. Make sure you go and check them out. Thank you very much to Manscaped for sponsoring this show. Again, use the code Howson at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. The link is in the description. Go and click it now. Thank you to Manscaped. Your balls will thank you. Steve, take it away.
So Rafa Benitez was on the overlap last week and seemingly went out there with another fact sheet of scores to settle. One of them being that he had zero budget and couldn't sign anyone. Well, it was bollocks then and it was bollocks now. And then all Liverpool fans coming out and saying he didn't have the wages to be able to spend. He didn't have the money to be able to spend. The facts say something different, Rafa. Fact, right? Rafa Benitez spent a lot of money as Liverpool manager, a lot of money, and he wasted a lot of money as Liverpool manager. And actually, if you start looking at the wages, we'll see what Liverpool spent versus what Manchester United spent at those times on both wages and transfer budget. And the net spend on transfers is about the same, and the wages is about the same until 2008, when it looks like United all probably got a wage increase after winning the Champions League and the Premier League in the same season. The bottom line is this myth is trotted out by everyone, including Rafa Benitez, and I'm disappointed that there was no one on the panel there that had the data to be able to go, well, that's a lot of old cake in it at the end of the day. Now, this is actually from a Liverpool website, and it's a wage bill and transfer comparison. You can see it right there, compiled by liverpool-cop.com. It shows you for the 20 years from 1990 to 2009, Liverpool and Manchester United basically spent pretty much the same on wages and transfers. Liverpool actually had more years where they spent more than us and won fuck all. Fluked to Champions League in 2005. So this whole Manchester United bought success, no one could compete with them, blah, 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 blah. Liverpool websites are putting the truth out. Can we stop peddling this utter fucking wibble now? Anyway, I know there's 904 we've missed there, so reply with your links, hit us up on Twitter next Tuesday and give us all of the info and we will put them to rights next week. Nice one. See you in a bit.